park today, and I'm going to try and go where it's there's less people, because I've tried making a few videos and people keep coming over to me when they see what the topic is and then trying to have a conversation, which I don't usually mind, but I'm in a bit of a rush today. So something I want to talk about is something that I think affects many people. In fact, I know it affects many people because many of my clients come to me for counselling for this issue, and that is anxiety. So anxiety basically is where someone has, and it's not an irrational fear because that is a phobia, but someone has a fear that leads to a physical response, and it can lead to things like panic attacks. It can lead to people making decisions where they're going to withdraw from the situation. It can lead to people having increased heart rate. It can lead to sleepless nights. So typical things that would cause anxiety are going to be meeting new people, going for a job interview, having an exam coming up, and maybe it's the loss or bereavements of someone. And then and anxiety also is led by triggers a lot of the time. So something may have happened to you previously, and then you may experience a trigger, meaning that you'll see someone or you'll be in a situation that reminds you of something that's happened, and then your anxiety will return. Now, I'm not an expert in terms of anxiety. I do work with anxiety and depression, but I just want to give you 3 quick tips really, because I think this will be more of a useful video, informative video for people who do struggle with anxiety. So the first thing is that anxiety is normally associated with what's happened previously or what's about to happen. People don't normally get anxiety based on the current situation. So that's a positive thing, because what that means is that the best way to tackle it, tip number 1, is to bring yourself back into the present. What I mean by that is, if you know that there's an exam coming up, but that exam isn't till 3-4 weeks down the line, or you know that something has happened to you in the past, but you're not there now, you're currently in a completely different space, then what you would do is you would give yourself some self-talk to bring your anxiety down. So you would do something like saying, I know that I'm anxious about this exam that's coming up in 3 weeks. I know that there's pressure on me to get a certain result. I know that I haven't studied enough for this exam. However, the exam isn't till 3-4 weeks down the line, so I need to take action now. And what you're doing is you're comforting yourself and also giving yourself a pep talk, because what that's doing is it's sending a signal to your brain to say, look, why are you worrying about this event that hasn't occurred yet? You're here now. And then, so the second part to that is you will take action after you've finished giving yourself the pep talk. The second thing when it comes to anxiety is not to dismiss or ignore or distract from the thing that is causing you the anxiety. Now, in psychology, what they would say is you're exposing yourself to the situation that makes you anxious. They do this a lot in phobias. So an example would be if someone's got a phobia or a fear of spiders, rather than, what people tend to do is to avoid spiders, avoid going where they are, avoid looking at them, and all that does is increases your fear of that thing. And it's the same with anxiety. If you've got an anxiety about whether it's flying, whether it's public transport, whether it's being around crowds, the more you avoid those situations, yes, it's keeping you happy and comfortable, but you will never get over that anxiety of it because you're avoiding it. So what I would normally do with my clients when I work with them is I ask them to do small tasks that expose them to the thing that makes them anxious. So a good example, and I got this from Deepak Chopra, who I'm a big fan of, you can find him on YouTube. He says that you should try to talk to strangers every day. So you should walk up to a complete stranger, say hello. You should maybe shake hands with someone you've never met. And if you're really confident, maybe give someone a hug that you've never met. Now, I'm not advocating for that for someone who's got severe anxiety, but something I do encourage people to do is when they're at the bus stop and they're like really worried and they're really stressed because they don't want to get on the bus and they're worried about all these other things, instead of looking down and just looking at their phone and just getting more and more anxious, say hello to a few people around you. It's not going to hurt, but also it might encourage you to feel less anxious. And the third and final tip that I want to suggest is that if your anxiety is very severe, and that's at the point where you are literally unable to function, where you're going out into the public and you're having panic attacks, where your anxiety is increasing impacting on your life in a major way, you know, you can't work, you can't be around people, then I would suggest you get some help for it. Now, you can either go straight to your GP and seek help from him or her, or you can maybe seek counselling. But there are so many wonderful things on YouTube and just generally where you can find some help. There are lots of books as well. So that's my 3 tips. As I've said, I'm going to leave all my details below where you can find some information if you would like to work with me and you want to make a counselling inquiry. You can also like this video, you can share it with anyone you think it might be useful to, and thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all again soon. Have a great day.